Hey, Mike Healy here, and I have an amazing video to share with you. This is from a clip of a training that I did a little while ago, and it's how I recruited over 2,000 personals in my networking career. And I think I'm now up to close to 2,500 from the time I'm actually recording this intro. And a lot of times, what I like to do is look at some of my older trainings and see if I can repurpose anything. What stood out? What were some great things that have held true, stayed the test of time? And I just went through this one. I just watched it again. And I'll tell you what, it was probably one of the best trainings I ever did on how to personally enroll people. The reason I'm saying that is because in most networking companies, when you join, or if you're trying to do a direct selling or affiliate marketing, doesn't matter, is it all comes down to kind of you're the first circle, right? You are the one that has to launch this thing, get this thing going. And I have seen some statistical anomalies, I guess you could say, that have held true. They're literally almost written in stone on how to get your business built, how to create momentum. The tips that I have, and in this training, I'm just telling you, if you take the time to take screenshots of it, to write notes of it, to get the bullet points that I write down in the PowerPoint part that I cover, I'm telling you, it will change how you do business, and you're going to see that there's a real future ahead for you in making a passive income. Okay, so what I want you to do is just to watch this video, take your time, go through it. I'm telling you, the content in it is absolutely spectacular. So enjoy. But when I'm done here, my big promise to you is this: that you will know exactly what you need to do, what your marching orders will be, the core tasks you need to have, the vital behaviors that you need to implement to create an actual nice big residual income in your network marketing company. Okay, that's all I have to say about that. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. There's nothing I'm going to show you that you cannot do. Everything here is 100% duplicatable throughout yourself and through your teams. Okay, so when I go through this, you're going to be very excited about it. Hey, Rod. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to shrink myself so you can just still see me, but I'm going to pull up my slides for you, and we're going to do that. Sound good? Okay. So first and foremost, the title of this is How to Recruit. This is also going to be on my podcast. Now, if you're not, I just launched this podcast, by the way. So if you haven't checked it out yet, I only have a few things on here. I'm going to continue to add content on here, but it is available on iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, and about 10 other platforms. Okay. Now, also, if you want some more training, I've got tons of great content on my YouTube channel. I got over almost 27,000 subscribers now. I'm pushing like 2.5 million views on all the videos that I have on here. So there's a reason people subscribe to my channel. Okay, so that's that. Now, I wanted to shock you ahead of time. You see this drunkard right here? This guy sitting here, fairly almost completely incoherent. Yep, that is me. Okay. Back in the early 90s, I used to be in the bar business. I had no direction, no idea what I was going to do with my career. What I plan on doing is showing you how to go from this guy. Okay. That guy actually, to get to the next level is basically a big dose of Jesus. But I just wanted to show you this to shock you ahead of time that if that guy can do it, so can you. All right. So let's go ahead and get started, and you're going to take some notes now. First off, this is extremely important because you're going to be wanting all these different how-tos, things like that. And now I'm going to give them to you. But why you do this is way, way more important than how you do it. Why you do it is more important than how you do it. When I first started networking, I just wanted out of the bar business, and to make a few extra $100 a month is really what I was looking for. And I'd run into some guys that were making money, and I thought, hey, if they can do it, I can do it. That was pretty much it. I didn't have any business background and so on. But about a year later, I had a kid, Alexis, my daughter, who's now 22, 23 years old, something like that, who just got married, which is amazing. She became my wife. I mean, yes, Stacy and I, Stacy I knew could fend for herself. She's always been very independent, my wife, Stacy. And but when you have a daughter who's, when you have an infant, when you have a kid, things completely change, and you kind of change your perspective. So from that point on in my career, it translated from being all about Mike to being all about Alexis. And then it became all about Alexis and Isaiah. Then it became all about Alexis and Zeke.
Alexis, Isaiah, and Zeke. Okay. And then I was always last, obviously, with Stacy involved in this. And that's the thing. So if you don't know why you're doing this, really, you're not going to apply any of the things I show you. Okay. So, in my opinion, you should take more time to figure out why you're doing it. Remember why you signed up, why you joined a business, what piqued your interest, and focus on that the whole time. And everything else I show you is a piece of cake. Now, the secret to networking is really just getting a large group of people to do a few easy tasks over a sustained period of time. Okay. I've heard this repeated many, many times. I've repeated it myself many times. And really, in a nutshell, that's what it is, because networking is not that hard. It's just a matter of teaching some people some simple skills. Now I'm not going to project any income, and it doesn't really matter if I do anyhow, because I'm not promoting a company on here. But what if I told you that if you personally enrolled 20 people, that you would earn $500 to $1,000 per month? Okay, would you do that? Now, before we go any further, is a lot of people write financial goals. It just pops into their head. Well, yeah, what do you want from this business? Well, I'd like to make $1,000 a month. Okay. That doesn't get you to dial the phone. That doesn't get you to generate leads, work through the adversity if you don't know what the reason behind the $1,000 is. Okay. So in my opinion, you should have a freedom number, like a goal number, that allows you to understand what that, and then you work backwards on what that would mean financially. Okay. But let me ask you this one. What if I told you that if you personally enrolled 50 people, you'd earn $2,000 to $5,000 per month? Okay. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking anything else. I don't want you to think any farther than what I'm talking to you about right here. And what if I told you, or what if I asked you that, or told you that if you personally enrolled 100 people, you'd earn between $10,000 and $20,000 per month? Okay. Now here's the thing, before I go on, because I didn't write all these stories in, but I want to remember some of these. The very first training I ever went to in networking in 1997, I drove with a group of guys from Columbus, Ohio, down to Atlanta, Georgia, to meet some gentlemen that were doing the business. Okay. They were making $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 a month. The group, there was about 400 people in this room. And the one guy said something that I wrote down and I never forgot, and I still have the notes to this day. He said, you can't control how many tomatoes a tomato plant produces. You can only control how many tomato plants you plant. Think about that. Okay. And that was one of the things that really got me to understand that I couldn't control whether somebody went out and built the business, because in fact, you might not know this, but this is kind of the strangest law out there, that 80% of your growth, you've heard of the 80-20 rule. It will never change. Like, it's the most bizarre thing, that 80% of your growth will come from 20% of your people. That's in every single business, every industry. People that tithe in churches, literally the 10 to 20% of people generate the majority of the giving of a church. Same thing happens in your business. So if that's the case, and you can't tell the duds from the studs, the zeros from the heroes, wouldn't it make sense that you have to start hitting some of these numbers, right? Okay, so think about that. So what I began to understand was that if I learned how to be a very good recruiter, that the numbers would inevitably take care of themselves. They would work themselves out. Okay, so and I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. I literally am going to show you, so you're going to be excited about it. So now let's talk about this. I'm going to talk to you about some tips to get you started here. Okay. First things first, recruiting is a process. It's not an event. In today's day and age of instant pudding, microwave popcorn, 5-minute spray tans, you know what I'm getting at, right? Everybody wants it to happen overnight, and that is not the case. And until you accept that reality, you're gonna want to just smack yourself upside the head every other hour. Okay. The other thing, this is not in my notes, but it popped into my head, is you have to learn how to control your emotions. You have to learn how to control your emotions in this type of business, because if you do something and you have a great day and you're clear at the top of your the meter, and then all of a sudden you have a couple things happen and you're clear at the bottom, you will be emotionally exhausted before you can continue the process. Your goal should be between the 4 to 7 range. You don't get too down, you don't get too high. You don't get too down, you don't get too high. And if you learn that you will have your good days, you will have your bad days, you will have your bad prospecting, you will have your good prospecting, that it'll keep you more of an even keel. That way you can give it that long-term perspective. Obviously, I say this more times than you can shake a stick at, is learn to be the messenger, not the message. Now, a lot of people think that I'm a good recruiter because I know a lot of stuff, or I've been in the industry. This is the stuff I'm showing you. I'm about to teach you exactly what I did the entire time when no one knew who Mike Healy was, when no one walked me across stage, when no one, when I wasn't doing it. In fact, perfect example, and I'm glad this story jumped in my head. I had quit networking. Okay. I had quit networking, and then somebody talked me into getting into a company, and I did. And I had a job as a personal trainer. And during that process, I had 15-minute windows that between clients that I would train. So I would train them for basically 45 minutes. But during those 15 minutes, this is before cell phone. I couldn't afford a cell phone at this time. And this was probably in 2004. And I would sit on a stationary bike next to the phone that was in the wall, and I would do what I'm about to show you. This is absolutely true. And I made, by doing that process with no one knowing who Mike was, that same week I had to, when I was with that personal training, at one point in that one time, I actually had to borrow $40 from my boss in advance so that I had enough money to get milk and gas to get home. Okay. I had to get an advance of $40 because I didn't have enough money. Okay. During this process of what I'm about to show you, got me to the point that I made $1.4 to $1.5 million in that company in a 4-year span. Okay. Because I learned to be the messenger, not the message. I also, and you have to remember this, you got to learn how to say less to more people. If you grow your skills, you grow your check. Wouldn't we all say that LeBron James deserves a little bit more money because he's grown his skills to the point that he can do it, versus if I walked out there? Nobody's going to, if you gave me a basketball, I'd probably, I'd be building a castle because I'd be laying so many bricks. Okay. I don't have that skill, and that's not what I'm focused on. The other thing too is a lot of people think that the more complicated something is, the better it is. That is not the case with the majority of people. And remember, in networking, you are dealing with people. The only thing that you are dealing with is not systems and so on, even though systems are very important, is you're dealing with people, and people like to have things simplistic. Okay. Remember that. Now, here's another thing. Consistency is the key. I'm going to give you a story on how important this is. I was, during that company I just referenced of making 1.4 million in, I was invited with a group of the other top people in the company to a retreat. And while I was there, I thought to myself, hey, I got some of the best networkers in the world in here. Instead of just, being all pomp and prideful, why don't I ask these people what they did? And I thought of a question I was going to ask everybody. And the question was simply this. I walked around as fast as I could to as many of these people as I could. There's a clue. And I asked them this one same question. I asked this question. I said, what's the number one thing you would attribute to your success? And I had a little notepad. And as soon as they said something, I wrote the first thing that came out of their mouth. And I went through, and in a 3-hour span, I pulled about 60 people. I was able to hit the numbers to the point that I talked to 60 people. And then every single one of them, without question, the most important thing was not the website they used, not the way they delivered it. Everybody had a different personality. But the number one thing that I took out that the majority of them had was that consistency was the key to their success. In fact, the number one money earner, as I was getting ready to get on the bus to go back to our place where, our hotel from the event we were at, I ran up to him and I said, hey, what's the number one thing you would attribute to your success? And as he's walking onto the bus, he says, that's easy. I swing the bat as many times as I have to. Occasionally I get a hit. Every once in a while, I hit one out of the park. And I just paused because it was literally like one of those light bulb moments that I understood of how important it was. Now, here's the other thing is a lot of people in networking are used to working an hourly wage. And in most cases, you think that if you're in something for an hour, you deserve to get paid. That is not the case. As an entrepreneur, you only get paid for results, not the time you put into it. How many, and I can prove it to you. How many people know people that have been in companies for 2, 3, 4 years that are making no money? So it's not the time that somebody's in, it's the results that they are producing. You get paid for results. Identify, which I'm about to show you, what the core tasks are, what the behaviors you need to influence are, or repeat are. It'll make a total difference for you. Also understand the law of 100. Okay. Now I'm not going to go into detail on this, but I've seen that typically when I start to break 100, whether it's recruiting, prospecting, or even in my organization, that it literally starts to tip. It's literally like this little launch pad thing where all of a sudden it creates that momentum. The majority of people, they get frustrated around the 30 to 50 mark. And some barely make it to maybe 60, 70, but the ones that typically push through are the ones that you read about. Those are the ones you see across the stage. Now, I've mentioned this a couple times about the core tasks and vital behaviors. The other thing that's real important to understand when you're recruiting is this, is people are going to typically join you because they know you, like you, and trust you. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to increase your credibility and influence as I go through this. Okay. Now, some more core tasks. All right. So here's your 2 core tasks. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this right now. There's 2 things. There's procurement, which is how you get leads. And then there's processing. Processing is what you do with them. Okay. Procurement and processing. Procurement is how you get leads. Processing is what you do with them. Now, here's something to consider. Procurement, or how you get leads, is individualistic in nature. Individualistic in nature, meaning that how somebody typically gets in front of people or finds someone to talk to is different based on their personality. Based on their personality. Now, this is something that I didn't realize that had been going on for me for some time until I really started to analyze it. Okay. Now, here's the other thing, and I'm going to show you both of these. Okay. Now, here's the other thing. I hear this all the time. Well, I don't have anybody to talk to. I don't know who to talk to. Okay. I'm going to show you something. Okay. You can write these down, take a screenshot, whatever you want. That there are more ways to get prospects to talk to than you could ever think of. The only reason that you would ever say that you don't have somebody to talk to is if your why is not big enough. Okay, I promise you. Here's a story for you. Okay, and I'll go through some of these and I'll give you some examples. I'll give you a quick story. Let's say I am going. Somebody's going to pay me. Okay, or let's say we're going to talk to you right now. Okay. I'm going to lay a board down on the ground. It's going to be like a 2x4 that maybe is about a foot wide. So you can walk out it. You can put both your feet down on it. And if I told you that it's 20 feet long, and I said, hey, I'll give you $500 to walk across that. Well, without question, it's laying on the ground. You walk across it, no big deal, right? Because it wasn't a big deal. I just said, hey, I'll give you a couple $100 to do that. But let's say I took that same board and I put it at the top of 2 skyscrapers that are, a couple 100 feet in the air. And I laid it down and I said, hey, I'm going to give you $500 to walk from here to the other side of here. Okay. What changed was the fear involved, right? The why wasn't big enough to get you to do something. And you really weren't, you started to outweigh that wasn't a big enough thing to pursue. $500 wasn't a big enough thing to pursue, to risk your potential life, right? But let's say instead of $500 on the other side over there, and this is going to be, kind of brutal here, but let's say there's somebody on the other side. So you're on this building, and on the other side of the building is one of your kids. Okay. If you have kids and this person holding that, your kid says, if you don't come across here in the next 60 seconds, I'm pushing the kid off the building. Immediately, I guarantee you, every single buddy listening to this, if you got kids, will without question run across that thing because the why was big enough. Okay. Anybody that ever calls me, it says, I don't know who to talk to, in my opinion, does not have a big enough why and should start from scratch to identify that. Because here's the thing is every one of these things on here are different ways to generate leads. Warm market, friends and family, internet searches. You can buy leads. I know people that have built humongous businesses by collecting business cards and doing what I'm about to show you, myself included. I used to do it all the time. Social networking, community groups. How many times, how many places in your local area, your town, do they have different get-togethers and so on? Extended friends, referrals, online advertising. You can go to YouTube and find people. You can inbox people. There's timeshares. If you've ever been to a timeshare, those people are brutal, right? You got Facebook. You can find friends on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, different friends on different places. Sometimes people, you can become an expert without realizing you're expert by volunteering to speak at events. A lot of times you can go to speaking events and meet people during the breaks. Okay, find some local events going on and go to them. Okay, reverse solicitation. If someone's pitching you on something, compliment them. Compliment them on what they're doing and say, hey, I don't know if you'd be interested, but I'm going to send you something. Right? Craigslist. Asking questions. Okay, that's the number one thing you could do is ask questions. And obviously there's Google ads, YouTube, and Facebook ads. Now here's the thing. The majority of people want to do this the way I'm going to show you is the way I have done it. Yes, I know how to run ads on all kinds of platforms, but that is not my primary way. And that is not how I did what I did in every company up to this point. Okay. In fact, I'm not running any ads and haven't run any ads for probably almost a year for any kind of prospects to be reps. Okay. Because what I'm about to show you works 100% of the time. I've done it over and over and over again. All right. So you guys ready to learn? And I'm going to jump off the PowerPoint and I'm going to give you some examples. We're going to go straight. You and I are going face to face here in a second. But here's the thing. Okay. And some of you have seen this, and I'm going to repeat it over and over again because I want to show you what it takes. Sometimes you have to dig in, do the hard work, the things that work, that I know work, okay, to create a business. I even wrote a book on it. You can go to MikeHealyTraining.com, find one of the tabs that'll say book, click on it, and you can download a copy of that for free. Okay, you don't have to buy that book. You can get a copy of it for free right there. But here's the thing. There's 5 steps that I've created that are my recipe that I have done for years and years and years. Number 1 is prospect. Number 2 is contacting. 3 is presenting. 4 is following up. And 5 is repeating the process. Okay. So let's talk about that. I'm going off the screen right now and we are going to, I'm going to go solo with you. Okay. All right. So we're back solo. Okay. So follow me on this. Now, we're going to talk first about prospecting. Okay. Prospecting is the name of the game. Prospecting really just means who am I going to talk to? Okay. And I told you that if you had a big enough why, you would succeed in this, in anything, right? I don't care if you had to go out to knock on doors or whatever. If your why is big enough, you will do whatever it takes. Prospect, contact. So contacting, I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay. Now I'm going to take my phone here. Right here. And this is how I've made all my money. This is how I've built every one of my businesses is using my phone. But it's not as hard as you would think. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through the process just like I would do this. Okay. And I've taught this over and over and over again. Prospecting is who you're going to talk to. Contacting, I'm going to tell you how to do it in a second. Prospect, contact. Presenting, I'm going to show you what to say, how to say it. Presenting. Following up and repeating the process. Okay. So here's the thing is, in my opinion, I will always make my initial contact to people I know, friends and family. Oh my gosh. Did I just blow people's minds with the friends and family thing? NFL club. I got no friends left. Here's why that is an issue for you. If you think you can't go back to people that you've already talked to, it's because you're making yourself the issue and not the opportunity you're about to present to them. If you learn to get that out of the way, none of this matters, because friends and family to me are some of the easiest people to communicate with, because of if they're my friends, those are the kind of people I would like to probably see have success. And those are the people I would like to be on cruise ships, boats, go on trips with, right? Would be my friends and family. The reason you don't contact them again is because you think that you have to have credibility and influence when that's not the case. Okay, that's not the case. It has nothing to do with credibility and influence in this point of the game. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you exactly how I would do this. I've got my list of people, right? Okay, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you how I know this stuff works. Okay, these are actual written down names, phone numbers. Okay, I did this. I did this 2 days ago. 2 days ago, in fact. This notebook is. I did. What year is this? 2020. This notebook is actually about 15 years old. This book is 15 years old. The names in here that I wrote down originally are 15-year-old names. I literally pulled this out to prove it to somebody that what I said works. And I took these names, I sat them down, I did what I'm going to show you, and I did the rest of what I'm going to show you and put them on the list and made contacts with them. Because here's how it works. Is when I'm contacting somebody, all I do is this, okay? So I don't care who I call, when I call them. I do the same thing every single time, and it's been consistent for years. I was the number one recruiter probably in that company I did the 1.4. I was the number one recruiter in another, it was a supplement company that nobody really heard of. I earned a $50,000 recruiting bonus in another one. You get the point, right? Watch how simple this is. Okay. So here's the thing. When I make my time, what I'm trying to do is I identify the amount of people that I want to contact to send some information to, and I do a number that I know that stretches me, but not is too painful. For some reason, my number is 10. Okay. What I mean by that is I ask people permission to send them something. All right. Now listen close. Okay. Listen close to this. I'm going to slow down because this one's real important. Yes, I do I send people texts and messages on Facebook. And yes, I even teach, add somebody to a group, the ATM strategy. It's called ATM, where you add somebody to a Facebook group, you tag them in a message, and you message them. Okay, I get that. But the single most successful strategy I've ever done, and it never, ever has ever failed. And there's a reason I think I know the reason I'm going to share it with you, is when I call somebody first and foremost, and I ask them permission to send them something, my success rate skyrockets. And it's not by a little bit, it's a lot bit. It is a lot bit. It skyrockets. So let me explain this to you. So I've got my list. Let's say I don't have any numbers written, and I got these lists, and I dial the first person's phone number. Okay, ring, ring. Hey, Sandy? Hey, Mike Healy, how are you doing? Good, good, good. Hey, listen, I know you're busy. I'm not going to take up any of your time. But do you care if I send you an email on something? No? All right, cool. Yeah. What is it? Oh, I won't explain to you over the phone. It's like giving Eric over the phone. All I'm going to do is I'm going to send you an email. It's just got a recorded message in there, and it's got a link to watch a presentation. Just, see. I'm just looking for some people. I don't know if this is for you or not. Is that cool? Is your email still sandy@gmail.com? Okay, awesome. All right, I'll send it to you. Thanks. I know that seemed third grader easy, but I kid you not, that's what I do. Okay, I know you, Mike, you could have got to that point. No, I couldn't have, because you have to understand the reason, the behavior about this, the strategies, the psychology behind this is here's what just happened. Now, I kid you not, that is how fast I make a contact and I ask permission to send them something. Well, what do you send them? You ready for this? Here's what I send them. Sandy, thanks for letting me send you this. If you get a few minutes, listen to this recorded message. After that, if it piques your interest, watch this interactive presentation or this video or whatever, or go to this webpage. It doesn't matter. And then I write thanks. Okay. Get back with you in a day or so. Here's why this works. It's because when I take my phone and I call somebody, I've now, especially today's day and age, I've done something that most people won't do. I have gotten this success is just barely outside of your comfort zone, believe it or not. Okay. Yes, it's easy to just text somebody something. Yes, it's easier and less pushy. However, not pushy, but it just feels better that you didn't have any communication. But I'm telling you with everything in me, the most successful things that I've done is by calling people up and asking permission to send them something. When I have asked permission, they always say yes. That is a win for me. And all I do then is I take a little notepad and I make a tally mark and I write that down and say, I got one. And then I dial the next number and I do that. And I do the exact same thing. Ring, ring. Hey, Herb, Mike Healy, how you doing? Good, good. Hey, listen, I know you're busy. I'm not going to take up any of your time. Do you care if I send you an email? Nope. Awesome, awesome. All right. Yeah, I'll get it to you. Yeah, yeah, kids are good. Family's good. All right. Yeah, really appreciate it. All right. Well, hey, I know you're probably busy, so I'm going to jump off here, okay? All right, same email address? Yep, thanks. I kid you not, I get on and off the phone as fast as possible. Now, there's a reason behind this. The reason I get on and off the phone so quickly is this. I prospected. I found the leads that I wanted to talk to. I contacted them, which is what I'm just showing you right now. Contacted them. And I presented. I sent them the email, right? The email is literally that. So what I do is I take, wrong piece of paper, wrong pad, yellow pads all over here. So once I have somebody that said yes, I write their name down here. I write their email address. And usually I put their phone number down, right? I write their phone number down here. And all I do is put SE next to it a lot of times. Or if I already have their names in a notepad, if I made my list of 100, I might write SE. SE stands for send email. Now, the reason here's the thing, is the single most important thing that I am doing is this, is I am not trying to recruit them. I'm not trying to recruit them. I'm trying to create some interaction to get my foot in the door to continue dialogue. I am now beginning the conversation. You ready for this? Everybody's heard that the fortune's in the follow-up, right? Well, if you called me, asked permission to send me an email, I got the email, and you were on and off the phone in less than 15 seconds, when I see caller ID come up of you calling me, 100% of the time, in more cases than not, I'm going to answer it, right? Because I knew the last time I called or you called me, you were on and off really quick. Think of how smart that is, of how quickly you can make phone calls and do that. Now, here's what happens. So let's do a follow-up call. Ring, ring. Sandy. Hey, Mike Healy, how are you? Good, good, good. Hey, listen, is now a good time? I always ask if now is a good time, because you don't want to call Sandy if she just got off work or she's stuck in traffic and she's not in a good mood, or if she's putting the kids down for bed, whatever it might be. Got it? Okay. Ring, ring. Yeah, Sandy. Yeah, now it's a good time. Yes? Oh, awesome. Hey, listen, did you get the email I sent? I always ask if they got the email because I don't want to talk or give any information if they haven't gotten the email. You did? Great. Okay, cool. Did you have a chance to listen to the message? You did? Did you watch the presentation? Awesome. Okay. Well, what'd you like best? Ta-da. Believe it or not, that is exactly how I have followed up for years. Okay. I make these short phone calls. I then put the list down, and like this list right here, I will be following up with these people tomorrow. These are my tomorrow people that I'm doing my follow-up with. I'm going to call every single one of them on this list because it's a short list right here. And I will say, ring, ring. Hey, Brent, Mike Healy. Hey, did you get the email? Yep. Did you have a chance to check out the recording? Awesome. How about the video? Yeah. All right. Well, what'd you like best about what you saw? Here's the reason I always ask, what did you like best? Because if I can find out what their hot button is, in fact, you have to find out what their hot button is because you always have to let the prospect dictate the conversation. The prospect is the one who must dictate the presentation. However, you get to control the conversation because you're going to know how to ask the right questions. What are the right questions? What did you like best? When they say, oh, I like the fact that they had money. I like that you could make money. If they say that, I am not talking about product or service. If they say, hey, I like you could save money on this, then that's what I'm talking about. I am never talking about what I want to talk about. I'm always talking about what they want to talk about. And what I'm doing is listening. All I do the entire time of recruiting, and why it's so easy for me to recruit. In fact, I kid you not, I recruited a guy. I signed up a guy 4 hours ago. I recruited another person 4 hours ago. All I did was have a conversation with the person and ask them questions. Just like I'm showing you exactly what I'm doing here. This is why this works. Is you call, you make an introduction, and I know it gets you out of your comfort zone to dial that phone. I know it does, but I'm just telling you with everything in me that it is the most effective thing. It is the most effective because, one, I think it also gives you a stronger character and posture. It gives you more, definitely gives you more influence in the fact, or posture, I guess you could say, position of strength. That's what I was looking for. You come from a position of strength and respect because you talk to somebody and ask them permission. We've all heard of the phrase permission-based marketing, right? Well, sometimes when you just text somebody something, or you just inbox them something, like I get hammered a lot, right? Because I've been in networking and everybody wants to recruit me and bring me into their company. And I really would prefer if somebody contacted me first and asked me if they could send me something. And I always say yes. I always say yes, just for the fact that you reap what you sow, right? So I always do that. But basically what I do is I ask them to do that. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Okay. So prospect, okay, who you talk to, prospect contact was ring, ring. Hey, Jerry, Mike Healy. Hey, listen, I don't know if I can, we don't say, I got to get back there. I got a bunch of thoughts running in my head. Hey, wrong one. I'm not in follow-up. Prospect, contact, present, follow-up. So follow-up, I'm literally calling and asking them, what did they like best? Now, here's the thing. If somebody says, no, I didn't get the email, I am done with the conversation. I say, oh, okay, well, I'll resend it to you. All right, yeah. Did I write it right? Oh, I spelled your name wrong. Okay, here you go. I'll send it to you and you can get back to it. We'll connect tomorrow. Awesome. Okay. Or I did get the email, but I haven't looked at it. This is so tempting for people. So tempting for people to go, oh, well, I'm into blah, 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 puke, 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 puke. And you start spewing everything and you become the message and not the messenger. And that's where you mess it up. You say, you have to stand strong and say, oh, okay, well, when do you think you'll be able to listen to the recorded message? It's only a couple minutes long because I don't want to bug you. I always throw out little joke things too. I joke the whole time. I say things like, well, if you don't mind, just at least listen to the recorded message so you know what you're saying no to, and it makes it so I'm not a stalker. I say stuff like that, and I always get a chuckle because here's the thing, is the reason that I can recruit and why you can learn to recruit as well very, very efficiently and very, very easily is to have good, fun interactions with people and good experiences, because people remember the experience more than they remember anything else. People remember the experience more than they remember anything else. Now, here's what's nice is if I've prospected them, I've contacted people, I've presented to them, I've followed up, then repeating the process is literally the only thing you've got to get down. That it's just a numbers game. It is just a numbers game. If you say less to more people, okay, here's what happens is, and now I'm going to give you proof. Okay. I mean, obviously I've told you that I recruit people, but on this paper right here, I said this was from this is nearly 15 years old. I wrote the name and I wrote the phone number and the email. This person did not join. This person did not join. Nope, 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 no, no. Crap, right? This thing ain't working. In, nope, in, nope, 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 nope. In, nope, in, nope, 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 nope. Uh-oh, dry spell. This must not work. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Oh my gosh, I'm starting to lose my steam. In. Nope, nope, in, nope, in, nope, 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 nope. Do you get the point? Do you get the point? The point is that it's literally a numbers game. By going through the numbers the way I do, it never has failed, ever. I don't care what company I was in. I don't care what product I was marketing. It did not matter. Okay. And this is me reading this stuff and wondering if it worked many years ago. I'd read this in multiple books. The one guy that I was in the second company I was ever in, he was younger than me. He was in his early 30s, and he had like 20,000 people in his organization. I couldn't figure it out. And he pulled out his report. It was like this big. It was like a size of a small city phone book. And then he went through there and he said, he goes, I want you to look and see if you can tell me something that you notice on here. And I went through, and on the very first page, it showed all of his personals. Every one of his personals listed. And next to that was also the amount of people they had recruited. And he said, and I went through, and he had 82 personals. And of those 82, he said, I said, man, you got 82 personals. He goes, yeah, but I want you to look at something. Look at how many people each one sponsored. And he went through, and it was like 0, 0, 0, 0, 4, 0, 1, 2, 6, 40, 0, 0, 0, 11, 0, 5, 0, 0, 6, 0, 0, 0, 0, 9, 0, 42, 0, 0, 60, 0. You get the point, right? He goes, now go to the top 3 people I put in. Okay, the top 3 that have the most, and tell me if you notice anything. And I went to that person. I looked it up in alphabetical order, found their name, the exact same scenario. Remember what I very first thing I said at the very beginning of this. You can't control how many tomatoes a tomato plant produces. You can only control how many tomato plants you plant. Said that, and I did that. You know another scenario I did? I learned this at this was second company I was in. I was probably 5 years into my network marketing career, really wasn't crushing it. Went to one of these big, guru trainers. Don't remember a single thing he said except for the experience that I had when he did a thing called the dollar test. And I've done these on trainings myself now at some of the events that I do when I've done them before. And he said, I want everybody to come back after break and have a $1 bill in your hand. And then when we all got back, there was probably about 100 people in the room, maybe a little bit more than that. And he had everybody stand up and he said, here's the rules of the game. He said, everybody here has $1. Take your dollar out. Show it to me. Everybody did that. And he said, here's what I need you to do. I need you to come up with one thing of one reason why we're going to take 15 minutes and you're going to walk around and you're going to get somebody to give them give you their dollar. So you're going to walk around and you're going to try to get as many dollars as you can. That was the name of the game. And people were like, well, what do I say? How do I do it? What do I do? Da, 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 right? And he goes, no. You have to be creative. You have to think about this. And what he did is he set in motion something to change my career, because he said, figure something out. And I did. My thing was, okay, the name of the game is to get $1. I just got to give that guy or girl something, say something to them that will make them give me their dollar. And because that was the only rules of the game, right? And here's what I did. I thought of something. I said, oh, what would be worth value? And I said, I walked up to somebody. So as soon as he said go, I walked up to somebody and said, hey, if you give me your $1, I will tell you everything you need to know to become a millionaire in the next 6 months. And they would hand me their $1, and I would take their $1 and I would go to the next person, and they would stand there like this. And I would go to the next person. I walked up. I said, hey, if you give me your $1, I'll tell you everything you need to know to be a millionaire in the next 6 months. Handed me $1. In 15 minutes, I gathered $37. 15 minutes. Now, here's what was really cool. When the room was settled, everybody's standing there. He asked everybody, he said, how many people still have their dollar? Everybody was like, yay, everybody still has at least $1. But he said, now, if you lost your dollar, I want you to sit down and you have no dollars. 3/4 of the room sat down. You know why? Because when they gave their dollar away and they didn't have a dollar, they got all bent out of shape, and then they kind of stopped hustling. They maybe talked to one person, or worst yet, he said, he pointed it out. He said, I watched you. I mean, he was brutal. He said, I watched this person, you, stand there and try to talk to that one person for 9 minutes into giving you their dollar. And that person did the exact same thing, 9 minutes back and forth, 9 minutes back and forth. And he went there, and take a guess who got the most dollars in the whole room? Me. I didn't even know what I was doing. I had no idea how profound of meaning this had to it by going out and getting those dollars from people. But here's what I understood. Here's what you need to know, that if you work the numbers work. If you just take the time to do those 5 steps, kid you not. Okay. People always everybody wants, and they see me on the internet. They see I've got all these things. They think that I'm doing something different than everybody is doing. I'm really not. I'm just putting more videos like this out to teach you how to do this. But these are the core tasks. I say less to more people. I don't care if they say yes or no. And I work the numbers because it works every time. The $50,000 recruiting bonus that I won in that one company I mentioned, I earned that by watching football practice for my 2 boys when they played Pee Wee football. For 2 hours, I would take them to practice. It was far enough away that I would drive, and I wouldn't come back home to go back and get them. It was like 40 minutes out of the way. So I would go, I'd take a lawn chair, I sat down, and I had old downline reports or business cards that I'd collected or whatever. And I would sit there, and guess what I would say? Hey, Joe, Mike Healy. Hey, man, listen. I know you're probably busy. I'm not going to take up any of your time, but do you care if I send you an email? No? Awesome. Okay, cool. Is your email still joe@bigmoney.com? Excellent. Excellent. All right. I'm going to send this to you. I'll give you some directions inside there. Thanks. Click. Over and over and over. Here's the cool part. In that contest, it was a 5-month contest. Not 1 month did I actually win the #1 recruiter of the top months. But in the 5-month span, I was more consistent and put enough people in over that consistent 5 months to be presented a $50,000 bonus. And guess what else it did for my business? It launched it. It launched my business to the point that of the 50, I had of the 80-20 rule, 20% of the 50 said, this makes sense. I'm going to go talk to people. Do you see the method to the madness now? Do you understand the method to the madness? Prospect, contact, present, follow up, and repeat. Prospect, contact, present, follow up, and repeat. And if you do that over and over and over again, the only thing you got to be careful of is the monotony. But it doesn't become monotonous if you have a big enough why. And what's nice about the way I do it, and what I'm now teaching you, is the fact that anybody can do this. This is 100% duplicatable, because it never, ever really matters the tool, system, video, email, content, whatever that you do it. In my opinion, it's more important to do the numbers. I'll give you another one. Very first company I was in, no credibility, no business background. First thing, I didn't know what to do. And all I remembered was this. Somebody said it one time, I heard it, and I said, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to talk to people. I've never done it. I'm kind of, I just been a bouncer all these years. And they said, well, just ask some people if they want to make some money. Now I go, that's it? Said, yeah, just ask the people if they want to make money. Okay. So every day I went to the gym, right? I was, I like to go to the gym. Every day in the gym, when I would go after I was all sweaty, I would go I would go after the gym. I'd go change my shirt because I was all sweaty. And this was my little MO. And when I would go in there, there was usually somebody in there. I'd say hi, and I would just do this. I'd say, hey, excuse me, I know this is kind of strange, but do you ever look at other ways to make money? And most of the people, because I was like in my early 20s, would say no. They didn't know what I was talking about. They probably thought it was weird. But it wasn't that I knew it was going to work or not. Is I was trying to do something that got me out of my comfort zone to be consistent. And what happened was this. I asked, I asked, I asked, I asked, I asked, I asked. And finally, one time I walk in there and I ask this guy, and I'm like this, I'm like, all right, keep going, just stay the course. And I say to this kid, he's about my age, and he got in. I said, hey, this is going to sound kind of strange, but do you ever look at other ways to make money? And the kid goes like this, oh my gosh, yes. What do you got? I'm always looking. I literally, it threw me back, and I went like this, and he threw me off so bad. And he says, what are you doing right now? I said, well, I'm getting ready to go home. He goes, how about lunch? This was like 10 o'clock in the morning. So we went and had lunch. And that kid right there, literally built one of the largest legs in the business that I was in, like biggest organization. He had hundreds of people. Like he had gotten in and got a few. He got one guy in who got a few. And the one guy got this really good networker that built this massive organization to where I was flying down and doing events for him. And all I said was that question over and over and over in the locker room to people. Okay. So all that being said, I just felt compelled to do this because I know a lot of people see all my stuff. Yes, they've seen a lot of the internet things that I do. Yes, I know how to do all these online things, but these are the tried and true guaranteed things that will work for you if you work the numbers. If you make the contact, ask permission, because follow-up becomes a piece of cake because everybody will answer your phone, and then just ask them what they're interested in and talk about that and just keep talking about it. And when questions come up, let me kind of close with this. When questions come up, I typically don't answer them. Even though I may know the answers, I always think of a tool or a resource that will answer it for them. Like if they say, well, how's the compensation plan work? Well, hey, you know what I'll do is I'll inbox you the PDF of the company's comp plan. Or, hey, there's a guy that did a YouTube video that's really good on how he explains the comp plan. And I do that, right? That's exactly how I answer questions. You know why? Because that's also duplicatable. Everything I did, because people are asking themselves two questions when they're getting recruited. Is it worth doing and can I do it? When I called and asked permission, it was non-abrasive. It was very simple. They got an email that any third grader could have written. And then when I followed up, we just had a conversation like normal human beings. I wasn't pitching them. I wasn't selling them. I wasn't even doing anything. I was literally weeding through the people as fast as I could to find out the ones that had the hot buttons. And when I did that, it worked 100% of the time. 100% of the time it works. I've done it in multiple companies, multiple times, regardless of the product, regardless of the service, regardless of what it was. It was just, I stayed consistent to the process. And then the company, based on if you're in a good company or not, typically if I catch them and bring them to them, the company does their job and they stay and they learn more and they learn more and they learn more. Does that make sense? Who's with me on that? Is that good stuff? Because I think I'm done. I think I've talked myself completely out now. Are we good? Give me some comments. I want to see if we got some on here. I got to decline that because somebody's trying to call me. What do you say after they say what they like best? Michael Corso, you asked me, what do I say after they say, if I say, what do they like best? Whatever they tell me. Say when they ask me something, what I typically do is I just keep asking a question till I get to something that I might know the answer or point somebody to. Like, well, I was really excited about the money. I said, well, what part about it? Be more specific. Be more specific. Be more specific. If you continue to ask, be more specific, you'll peel the onion back till you'll find exactly what the hot button is, what the real question is, what the real interest level is. And then it's all piece of cake after that. It literally is. It's just, this is why it's so easy for me to recruit, because I just get paid to talk on the phone and just ask people questions. I'm in essence, you're just interviewing people is really what you're doing. Just learn to be Oprah. Think like Oprah. What does Oprah do? She just asks questions. And guess what people want to talk about the most? Themselves. So get them talking about themselves, get them talking about their interests, get them talking about the things that, that drive them, their why. If you can tap into that, your vehicle will get them there. If you can find out what their why is, your vehicle can get them there. It's all you're looking for. What's their pique their interest, find out what their deep core benefit why is, the real thing that keeps them up at night, show them how the business and whatever tool you need to show them to answer that problem. Boom. That's all it is. Money is merely a reward for solving people's problems. You are just finding people that have problems and identifying your solutions to them. That's it. Got it? Okay. All right. Did you get, I'm officially done. I have to go eat now. I'm hungry again. But did you get something out of this? If you did, thank you. I hope you did. I have had plenty of people make great comments on here. Tiffany, no, I do not. Have you tested leaving a message on Facebook Messenger to those you don't know? I haven't really tested it, so I can't give you pros and cons on it. I always personally do like to make an audio message to somebody, usually a phone call. And the reason the phone call is, the reason I think it's important to do the phone calls first and foremost is it does teach you a skill of human interaction that you do have to have if you want to build a big business. I don't care if you're an introvert or not, which, okay, I know it's easier to do some of these online things, but if you want the big checks, you got to make that physical phone call, because it will teach you how to interact. It will teach you how to be a good listener. And that's some skills that you cannot get, that you once learned are with you forever. So it's more important to learn that process. I hope you got that. That's actually, I wish I'd have thought of that earlier to say on here. So all that being said, I am really impressed at how many people stayed on here the entire time to listen to this. So thank you very much. You guys are fantastic. I appreciate all the kind words. I'll probably go watch a replay and see if I can send some stuff out there. So thanks again. And there is a significant difference between making a living and having a life. And if you'll do today what others won't, you can live tomorrow like others can't. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. And I'll see you on the other videos. Thanks.